Everything you experience in the outer world is a direct reflection of the state you hold within. Your beliefs, assumptions, and inner conversations shape the reality that unfolds before you. The world does not act independently of your mind. Rather, it conforms to the dominant ideas and emotions that you entertain daily. Whether you realize it or not, you are constantly shaping your life through the thoughts and assumptions you accept as true. Your external reality is like a mirror, responding precisely to the way you see yourself and the world. If you believe yourself to be lacking, life will present you with situations that affirm that belief. If you assume that love and happiness are always just out of reach, your experiences will reinforce that assumption. But the moment you shift your inner state, the outer world must follow. It has no choice. It is law. You are never a victim of circumstances, you are the creator of them. Many go through life thinking they are at the mercy of fate, that events happen randomly, or that happiness is dependent on external conditions. But this is a misunderstanding of how life truly operates. Every event, every encounter, and every experience is drawn to you by the state of being you persistently occupy. You may think that things happen to you, but in truth they happen through you. The unseen, silent workings of your imagination are constantly setting the stage for what you will later experience as reality. If you desire change, you must begin within. There is no other way. Efforts to manipulate the external world without first transforming the internal state will always lead to frustration. You may try to force circumstances to shift, struggle against unwanted conditions, or chase after what you believe you lack. But until your inner world aligns with the reality you seek, nothing will truly change. The outer world is merely an effect. The cause is always within you. To test this truth, observe how your emotions and assumptions influence your daily experiences. When you are in a state of joy, the world seems brighter, people are kinder, and opportunities flow effortlessly. But when you are anxious or doubtful, everything feels heavy, obstacles appear everywhere, and nothing seems to go right. This is not coincidence. It is a direct demonstration of how your inner state dictates the world you perceive. The moment you shift your focus, the world responds accordingly. So, if you want to experience love, begin by feeling loved. If you desire success, assume the feeling of already being successful. If you long for peace, embody the state of peace within. The world is not withholding anything from you. It is simply reflecting the energy you consistently project. Most people wait for conditions to change before they feel different, not realizing that the only way conditions will change is by first shifting how they feel. The process is simple but requires discipline. It begins with awareness, becoming conscious of the assumptions you hold and the thoughts you entertain. Many live unconsciously, allowing fear, doubt, and past experiences to dictate their present state. But once you recognize that you are the operant power in your own life, everything changes. You no longer react blindly to the world. Instead, you intentionally choose the thoughts and beliefs that serve you. Each day presents an opportunity to reshape your reality by reshaping your inner world. The past does not define you, nor do external conditions have power over you unless you give them power. Your current life is a result of past assumptions, but your future is being created right now, in this moment, by the state you occupy. If you persist in a new assumption, the world must rearrange itself to match it. There is no exception to this law. The key is persistence. A single moment of positive thinking is not enough to alter deeply rooted beliefs. But when you consistently dwell in the state of your desired reality, the world will eventually conform. It may not happen overnight, but it will happen because the law is unfailing. There is no need to struggle or force things to happen. Simply assume the state of already having that which you seek, and the world will reflect it back to you. Love is not something to be found outside of you. It is a state of being that originates from within. The belief that love is something external, something to be chased or earned, is the very reason so many feel unfulfilled in their relationships. People search endlessly for love in another person, thinking that when they find the right one, they will finally feel whole, finally be at peace. But the truth is, love cannot be given to you by another. It can only be revealed through the love you cultivate within yourself. When you understand that love is not separate from you, you stop seeking validation from the outside world. You stop believing that love is something to be gained through effort or external circumstances. Love is not about finding the perfect person, nor is it about fixing yourself to become worthy of it. Love is a state of consciousness, a vibration that you embody, and when you fully recognize this, you no longer feel the need to chase it. Instead, you become a magnet for it. Many people believe that they are unloved because they do not see evidence of love in their external world. They assume that because no one is showing them love in the way they desire, it must mean they are unworthy, incomplete, or not good enough. But the truth is, the world is simply reflecting back to them what they assume to be true. If you believe that love is scarce, it will be. If you believe that love is something you must struggle for, you will continue to struggle. The moment you shift your inner reality and embody the state of being loved, the world will mirror that back to you. Love is not about another person completing you. That idea is rooted in lack, the belief that you are missing something and that someone else must fill that void, but nothing is missing. You are already complete. The only reason you feel otherwise is because of the assumptions you have accepted about yourself. You were not born feeling unworthy of love. That idea was learned, absorbed from the world around you, and accepted as truth. But it is not the truth. The truth is that love has always existed within you, waiting to be recognized. When you love yourself fully, not in a superficial way, but in a deep, knowing way, you no longer need to seek approval or validation from others. You do not need someone to tell you that you are worthy, because you already know it. You do not need constant reassurance, because you are secure in yourself. This is the kind of love that transforms your life. It is the kind of love that changes the way people respond to you, the kind that attracts relationships built on true connection rather than dependency. The irony is that the moment you stop needing love from outside sources, it begins to flow effortlessly into your life. When you embody love, when you radiate it from within, the world cannot help but reflect it back to you. People are drawn to those who are complete in themselves, those who do not seek to take, but simply are. Love flows naturally to those who are not searching for it because they already carry it within. If you wish to experience love, begin by assuming that you are already loved. Not in the future, not when you find the right partner, but right now. Feel the warmth, the security, the joy of being completely loved and cherished. Not by another person, but by yourself. Make this your dominant state of being, and the external world will adjust accordingly. People, opportunities, and experiences that align with this love will begin to appear effortlessly. Love is not something you receive, it is something you express. It is not something you wait for, it is something you become. And when you truly understand this, you will never feel a lack of love again. The world will bend to match the love you hold within, because that is the law. Freedom is not found in external circumstances. It is a state of being, a realization that you are the creator of your own experience. Many believe that freedom is something to be earned, something that comes only after conditions are met, or something that depends on the approval of others. But true freedom begins in the mind. It is the ability to detach from limitations, to move beyond the constraints of past beliefs, and to embrace the infinite potential that exists within. When you understand that you are not bound by circumstances, you step into a life of self-discovery. You begin to see that the only chains that exist are the ones created by your own thoughts. The limitations you perceive are not absolute. They are assumptions that have been accepted as truth. The moment you question them, the moment you decide to release them, you find that there is nothing truly holding you back. To be free is to trust yourself, to no longer seek permission to be who you are. It is to step into your own power, to define your own path, and to recognize that you do not need to fit into the expectations of others. Many live their lives confined by invisible barriers, fears of judgment, fears of failure, fears of stepping into the unknown. But these fears are illusions, mere projections of the mind. The reality is that nothing is stopping you from becoming who you wish to be, except the belief that you cannot. Self-discovery happens in the space of freedom. When you are no longer consumed by external expectations, you begin to hear your own inner voice more clearly. You begin to ask yourself what truly matters, what excites you, what moves you. Without the noise of outside influences dictating your choices, you gain clarity. You recognize that the answers were always within you, waiting for the moment you were ready to listen. There is immense power in solitude, in being alone with yourself, free from distractions. It is in these moments that you truly come to understand who you are. The world teaches you to seek distractions, to constantly be engaged, to avoid stillness. But in stillness, there is revelation. In solitude, you uncover parts of yourself that were buried beneath expectations, fears, and the need for external validation. You realize that you do not need permission to live fully. You already have everything you need. Freedom is not the absence of responsibility, it is the ability to choose your own path. It is the recognition that you do not have to follow a script written by someone else. You do not have to live according to societal timelines, traditions, or rules that do not align with your truth. You are free to create, free to explore, free to reinvent yourself as many times as you choose. There are no limits except the ones you accept. As you embrace this freedom, you begin to discover strengths you never knew you had. You uncover passions that were buried beneath obligations. You realize that life is not meant to be a rigid path, but an evolving journey. You stop waiting for the perfect moment, for the perfect conditions, and you start living now. With freedom comes responsibility, the responsibility to honor yourself, to make choices that align with your truth, to stand firm in your convictions. It is not always easy to break away from old patterns, to walk a path that others may not understand. But the reward is authenticity, a life that is truly your own. And when you live in alignment with your true self, you experience a peace that no external validation could ever provide. The journey of self-discovery is ongoing. There is no final destination, no point at which you have learned all there is to know about yourself. Every day is an opportunity to grow, to expand, to explore new aspects of your being. True freedom is the realization that you are always evolving, always becoming, and that you are the one who holds the power to shape your own life. Love is not something you must wait for, chase, or earn. It is a state of being that you can assume at any moment. The world mirrors your inner reality, and if you wish to experience love in your life, you must first assume the feeling of being loved. This is not about hoping, wishing, or looking for signs outside of yourself. It is about stepping into the certainty that love is already yours, that it flows through you, and that it cannot be taken away. Most people believe that love is something external, something they receive from another person. They wait for love to appear, for someone to prove they are worthy, for conditions to align perfectly before they allow themselves to feel it. But love is not given or taken, it is created within. The reason so many struggle to find love is because they do not realize that they must first embody it. If you feel unloved, the world will reflect that back to you. If you feel abundant in love, love will reveal itself in countless ways. To assume the feeling of being loved means to exist in a state where love is not separate from you. It means waking up every day with the deep knowing that you are cherished, valued, and adored. Not because someone else has said so, but because you have chosen to dwell in that truth. You do not need evidence to prove it. You do not need another person to confirm it. You assume it first, and the world responds accordingly. This is not mere imagination. It is the way reality operates. Everything you experience is a reflection of the state you occupy. When you assume the feeling of being loved, your thoughts, actions, and energy shift. You move with confidence, radiate warmth, and exude the kind of presence that naturally attracts love. You no longer seek love out of lack, nor do you fear its absence. You are love, and because of this, love flows effortlessly into your life. Doubt is what keeps love at a distance. The moment you question whether you are loved, the moment you begin searching for proof outside of yourself, you step into a state of lack. You send out the energy of needing love rather than already possessing it. But the law is precise. Whatever you assume to be true becomes your experience. If you truly believe you are loved, the world will bend to confirm it. You will see it in the way people treat you, in the opportunities that come your way, in the unexpected moments of kindness and connection. To make this a reality, begin by feeling love in your heart now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself surrounded by an undeniable presence of love. Feel its warmth, its comfort, its security. Hear the words you long to hear spoken directly to you. See yourself receiving love in all its forms, through relationships, friendships, experiences, and even self-care. Live in that feeling as if it were already true and refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts it. At first, the mind may resist. It may remind you of past hurts, of times when love seemed absent, of reasons why you should doubt. But none of that matters. The past holds no power unless you allow it to. What matters is the state you choose to dwell in now. If you persist in the assumption that you are deeply loved, the world has no choice but to reflect it back to you. This is the power you hold. You are not at the mercy of circumstances or other people's actions. You are the operant power in your own life. Love does not come from another. It is generated within. The moment you accept this truth and fully embrace the feeling of already being loved, love in all its forms will become an undeniable part of your reality. Wholeness is not something to be attained, it is something to be realized. Many people go through life feeling incomplete, believing that something outside of them, money, relationships, success, will finally make them feel whole. They chase external things, thinking that once they have them, they will finally be fulfilled. But true abundance is not the result of acquiring more. It is the reflection of a deep inner state of completeness. When you recognize that you are already whole, you naturally attract the abundance that matches that state. Most people live in a mindset of lack, believing they are missing something. They look at what they do not have, dwell on what is absent, and operate from a place of need. But lack only attracts more lack. When you focus on what you are missing, you reinforce the belief that you are not enough as you are. And because your reality mirrors your assumptions, life continues to show you evidence of that insufficiency. But the moment you shift from feeling incomplete to knowing that you are already whole, everything begins to change. Abundance is not about having more, it is about recognizing that you already have everything within you. The world does not give you wholeness, it responds to the wholeness you embody. When you move through life with the certainty that you are already enough, that nothing is missing, you radiate a powerful energy that attracts opportunities, relationships, and success effortlessly. You no longer seek abundance from a place of desperation, but rather from a place of natural alignment. This shift happens when you stop looking outward for completion and turn inward. Instead of asking what you lack, ask what you already possess. Instead of focusing on what is missing, focus on what is present. When you appreciate what you have, your skills, your experiences, your unique qualities, you step into the energy of abundance. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is a state of being that signals to the universe that you are already full, already in possession of everything you need. And because the world reflects your internal state, this feeling of abundance begins to manifest in your external reality. People who feel whole within themselves naturally attract more into their lives because they are not seeking validation or fulfillment from outside sources. They do not need wealth to feel valuable, so wealth flows to them. They do not need love to feel complete, so love is drawn to them. They do not chase success to prove their worth, so success becomes a natural extension of who they are. This is the paradox of abundance. When you stop needing, you start receiving. Wholeness also brings clarity. When you operate from a place of lack, your decisions are driven by fear and insecurity. You may settle for less, accept situations that do not serve you, or hesitate to take action because you are afraid of losing what little you have. But when you feel whole, you make choices from a place of confidence. You trust yourself, you recognize your worth, and because of that, you align with people, opportunities, and experiences that reflect your value. This state of wholeness is not something to be created, it is something to be remembered. You were never broken, never lacking, never incomplete. The only thing that ever made you feel otherwise was the belief that you were not enough. The moment you release that belief and embrace the truth of your completeness, abundance begins to flow effortlessly. The world cannot give you what you do not first claim for yourself. But when you claim your wholeness, when you live in that truth, life responds by giving you more than you ever imagined possible. Creation is born in solitude, in the stillness of your own presence, away from distractions and external influences. The deepest ideas, revelations, and transformations take shape. The world often glorifies constant movement, social interaction, and external validation. But true creation does not come from noise. It emerges when the mind is free from interruption, when thoughts can flow uninterrupted, and when the imagination is given space to expand without limitation. Many fear solitude because it forces them to confront themselves. In the absence of external voices, they must listen to their own. But this is where true power lies. When you no longer rely on others to shape your perspective, you begin to hear your own inner guidance clearly. It is in these quiet moments that ideas form, clarity emerges, and visions take shape. Everything that has ever been created, every great achievement, every masterpiece, every breakthrough began as a thought. And thoughts are born in silence. Solitude allows you to connect with yourself on the deepest level. When you're constantly engaged with others, your energy is divided. You're absorbing opinions, reacting to external events, and navigating expectations. But when you are alone, your focus turns inward. You begin to explore what truly matters to you, what excites you, what inspires you. This is where creativity flourishes. Not in the chaos of the world, but in the quiet of the mind. The greatest thinkers, artists, and visionaries understood this truth. They withdrew from the world to cultivate their ideas before presenting them. They knew that creation is not a collective process, it is an individual one. While collaboration has its place, the essence of any great creation is formed in solitude. It is in the stillness that the mind begins to connect ideas in ways that were previously unseen. It is in the quiet that inspiration strikes. Most people avoid solitude because they associate it with loneliness, but the two are not the same. Loneliness is a feeling of emptiness, while solitude is an opportunity for fullness. It is a sacred space where distractions fall away, and the essence of who you are is revealed. It is in these moments of stillness that you realize you are never truly alone. You are always connected to the vast intelligence that flows through all creation. Solitude also provides the space for deep reflection. When you are constantly surrounded by noise, it becomes difficult to process your experiences, to learn from them, and to grow. But in solitude, you gain perspective. You see patterns in your life, recognize what is serving you and what is not, and begin to make choices that align with your highest vision. This is where transformation happens. You do not need the world to tell you who you are. You need only to listen to yourself. The process of creation is deeply personal. Whether you are writing, painting, building, or dreaming, the initial spark happens in the quiet corners of your mind. It is only when you allow yourself the space to be alone that you tap into the infinite well of creativity that exists within you. The world will always pull at your attention, demand your time, and offer distractions. But if you truly want to create something meaningful, you must be willing to step away, to retreat into solitude, and to listen to the voice within. Everything that exists first existed in the mind of its creator. It was imagined, shaped, refined, and then brought into the world. This process cannot be rushed and it cannot be forced. It requires space, stillness, and patience. It requires solitude. When you embrace the power of being alone, you unlock the full potential of your creative mind. You begin to create not from pressure, but from inspiration, not from fear, but from possibility. In solitude, creation happens effortlessly, naturally, and powerfully.